All right, test 5. Away we go. So what would be the maximum age of 45 would be to look between here and see how high it goes. So there are 10 between those ages. So just so happens it could be 10, probably not, but it could be 10 that are that age then. Answer 10, first question. Second question is a formula, and it says that the sum of the angles is 180 t minus 2. So you could, so t is 10, because t sides is the number of sides, or you could just type it in, 10 minus 2 is 8, answer 1440. A shift. When you shift something 8 units to the right, you add 8 to the x. So it's negative 8 plus 8. When you shift something 3 units to the up, you add 3 to the y. So the ordered pair is 0, 0, D. Division is subtraction of exponents. 28 divided by 4 is 7, x cubed, y squared. We are subtracting 1 from each. Answer F. I don't have it on my calculator, but you could use the volume of cone and type it straight in and it'll give it to you. All right, I don't have it on my calculator here, so it's 1/3 pi radius squared, so 3 squared is 9 times 6. So the answer ends up being 18 pi, but the program would work too. Power to a power. You multiply the powers. Hey, revisited, huh? I love when they revisit problems. You're so well prepared. I'm $12 an hour for 40 hours, and I end up working 45. So how many hours overtime is that? 5. And in that, you're going to make $12 an hour, and you're going to make time and a half, which is overtime pay. So this is 480, and this is 60 times 1.5, 90, and the answer is, when you add them, 570. Notice my answer key, I said popular. They like it. You could use the matrix, alpha F3, and plug in those matrices and add them. But all you're doing is adding the components. 5 and negative 6, 7 and 3, and that would be faster. So I would not, unless you're totally lost in matrix. Here's a famous one. I wish we had seen it the first day. I got 6, 4, and 6. How many outfits is that? You times all the numbers and you get 144. It's how many shoes can I wear, how many pants can I wear, and how many shirts, and you times them. This one is based on symmetry. The parabola is symmetric to that line through what's really the center or vertex of the parabola. So do you see how we move from -1 to -3? That's back to So to get to the other 0, we move forward to answer G. Revisited. Program LCM, which I think I have on the calculator. I think I added it. And all you do is hit the 3 numbers, 21, 24, and 16. Whenever they do that, it seems to be answer B, but I don't like giving that as a tip when I don't know for sure. All right, a slope, huh? Can everybody say yay? The slope formula and program slope, all you have to do is go to it and hit -7, 3, and 2, 4. You're programmed up to get a slope of 1/9. Answer J. This looks like a story. And we're picking what? Our favorite type of movies, our favorite type of exhibits. So there's 60 students. 1/2 of them said modern. 1/4 said folk. And 1/6 said westerns. So that's 10. So how many people is that? 55. So how many people had no choice? A, the leftovers, 60 minus. Watch out for 14. They want the greatest solution. So you can move that over and you get 13.2 divided by 6. And that is going to be 2.2. So the greatest integer solution is less than that. The answer is 2. One-time registration fee, and we sell downloads for 0.70 per song. So how many songs can Ian download max? He's got $50. So I take the $50, and I gotta subtract the one-time fee of $17.50, and that leaves him $32.50 to buy songs. So you divide by the price of the song. So he would be able to go 46 songs. Answer D. Use ratio. Two similar right triangles are in ratio 2:9. The hypotenuse of the smaller, that goes with the 2. So what's the larger? Cross multiply. 2x is 72. X is 36. I always give out the colon ratio trick. 2x and 9x. And of course, 2x is the smaller one is 8, so x is 4. And that allows you to plug in 4 to get 36. All right, how many times am I going to say it? 5 people, the age is 130. Average is total. So there's 150 years in the room. The 50-year-old guy leaves the room. So he left. So the total ain't 150 no more, it's 100. What is the average of the remaining 4 people? So you divide 100 by 4. That's a classic, and we've been seeing it every night. 18. We have another isosceles triangle. And now this is what you have to know. I call it alternate interior angles. So alternate interior with the 32 is 32. I also call that the Z theorem. Isosceles triangle theorem. The angles opposite are equal. So what are we? We are supplementary to 132. Answer K. 19 is a great stow model. I'm going to take my calculator and stow what? -1, you're my X. 2, you are my Y. Notice I have to hit alpha for that. So are you ready? X cubed minus 2x squared Y minus 4x y squared plus 8. I love how I don't have to do nothing. The answer is C. And I am serious about that. It helps me to take it easy for a second. Shoot, this test is hard. And you get like sort of a problem off, in my opinion, when that happens. So that's C. All right, what's this? We are buying 10 of product 1. And so you got to do each cost. So 10 ones is 10 times 5 is 50. This is company A. 12 of product 2. So that's 10 times 12. And 5 of product 3 is 30. And that ends up spending a whopping $200. Now the other one is going to be harder to do in my head like this. 10 of product 1 is 55, so a little more. What is it? 12 of product 2. So what's 12 times 9.5 is 114. You need to get all these numbers down, of course. And then how many? 5 of product 3. So 5 times 5, 75 is 2875. I'm going to need a calculator some more. Plus 55 plus 114. And the total is 197.75. And this is more by $2.25. I subtract them. So what is this slope? Y-intercept is the question. So here I go. I could use the slope program and plug in these ordered pairs, -20 and 02. I think I wrote that down on the sheet. But the slope is 1 because it's rising 2 for every run of 2. And the y-intercept is 2 because it touches the y-axis at 2. So I need a line that has half of the slope. So I times 1 by a half and get a half, and 3 times the y-intercept. So it's 1/2 x plus 6. Pretty cool problem. What is the sine of angle A? Now, you have to know some Pythagorean Theorem. A squared plus B squared is the hypotenuse squared C over here. So C is the square root of A squared plus B squared. So the sine of theta is the opposite, whose opposite theta, over the hypotenuse. So the answer is H. We've had this one a few times. Each side of a square is 50. 50 times 50 is 2,500. And the 10 and x has to make that, so the other side of the rectangle is 250. 24 confuses. FG is not composition, it's multiplier. So what you have is a giant FOIL. You get 5x to the fourth minus 10x squared minus 6x cubed plus 12x plus x squared minus 2. Put them all together, you get 5x to the fourth minus 6x cubed minus 9x squared plus 12x minus 2. Watch out for that. That is not composition. That is straight multiply. 25. The red marbles is 12 out of the total 34, but that's not the question. The question is, how many marbles do I have to add that are red? Now when I add it to the top and the bottom to get to 3/5. You can use solver at any instant. But I cross multiply and I get 2r is 42 and r is 21. Great chance to plug and chug. So let's just say you wanted to try the answer 16, which is wrong. We started out with 12 over 34. So you could go alpha y equals, and take the 12 and add, I'm trying 16 to see if the answer is correct. Nope. But then when I try the right answer, which is 21, I'm adding 21 to the top and the bottom. Notice it gives me the winning answer, which is 3/5, which is what I want. Counting running laps. This is the way I saw this. So Megan, the faster one, runs at a rate of 40 seconds per lap. So after 120 seconds, so we go 40, 80, 120, Megan is back at the start of the circle. The other one, though, is not. She runs a lap every 70 seconds. So they're running clockwise. So she's going to run a lap this way. 70, two of them would be 140. So where is she? Almost finished the lap. So which one of these shows that? Clearly it is H, huh? Because H is the only one that has as its answer something with the something like what they're running. So Megan is back home and Louisa is almost finished her second lap. Distribute the minus, and you get 2x plus 2. This is going to be true for none. 2 cannot equal 14, so we say no values of x. You plug that in the solver, it's going to keep giving you an error, not because your solver's messed up, it's because there's no solution. This is an arithmetic sequence. We saw one of those in test 3. Notice they're adding a half each time, but that's not what they're asking. The mean and the median are the same. If you add up those 7 numbers and divide by 7, you will get 2. And the median is clearly 2 because the 7 numbers are in order. 2 has 3 higher and 3 lower. So there is no difference in the 2. 29, yay, I get to use my ABI. So it's negative 2i plus 5. Oops. Negative 2i plus 5. I already forgot the other number. And 2i plus 5. Times them, and you get 29 as the answer. Let's see. Gotta be feeling a little better. Your calculator does scientific notation. Nobody ever uses it, and if you do, it's in the mode of science. So ready? What is the sum of 3.8 times 10 to the 5th plus 6.4 times 10 to the 4th? 4.44 times 10 to the 5th. If you had been off of that, which I would immediately do if I ever used it, it would have given you this, and then you would have to guesstimate the decimal and count 5 places. So either way, it's not too hard. "31 drove me crazy." We have 6.5 yards, and we use 3/4. The smartest person I ever knew subtracted 3/4 like crazy until you got under the number. That's you using the 3/4. Yay, here it goes. And the answer is 1/2. Mathematically, it drives you nuts. It's 6.5 divided by 3/4. And you get 8 with the 2/3 or 66667. Well, that's of 3/4. Each piece is 3/4. That's the way I did it. But the smartest person I ever knew just subtracted 0.75 so they got the half left. This one with gas is easier for people who pay for their gas and do it more often. Fuel economy, 350 miles of highway driving. So if I'm 350 miles on the highway, I get 350 divided by 32. I use that much gas, and gas is $4 a gallon according to them. So it's 43.75. I multiply by 4. Now there's several numbers up here. Notice 25 is the basic mileage. You get better on the highway because you're not stopping and starting. You do worse in the city because you are. So that's why those numbers are there. Based on what is the number of miles driven per year. So the way I look at it is you're going to take the based on 1,000 miles, you're going to spend 2,400 as your fuel cost at $4 a gallon. So you must be buying 600 gallons of gas at 25 miles to the gallon. So the best attack is 600 times 25. A lot of people miss these. They're a little weird. The words are all over the place and there's too much information. Based on the annual estimate for how much he'll save over the next 5 years. So it says that much, which means over 5 years, that's $3,500 is $700 savings per year. So how much would he expect to be the annual cost? It's based on the model that the annual cost is this. So he should have spent $700 over if he didn't have an economy car. I had trouble with that one. Of course, I'm doing it for the 900th time here, so I sound real confident. I was not when I did it. So 35 is tough too. Oh, no, 36 is the one that's real bad. 35 is no picnic. It's 240 miles per hour, and you have to convert that to feet. Well, there's 500,280 feet in a mile, and there's 60 minutes in an hour. So 1 hour is 60 times 60 seconds. So you times them both by, and there's your answer. 240 and 5,280 are on top, and 3,600 is on the bottom. Which answer is that? It is C. They got them all the same. Hardest question on the test. See how you do. A chemist needs 1 ounce, and he can't buy X directly, so he has to buy compound Y, which is 10% of the compound. So compound Y costs $240 for 16 ounces. And here's the trick: if it's 10%, he needs to buy 10 ounces. Because if he buys 10 ounces, he'll get 1 of the compound. So it's 240 is to 16 as X is to 10. And that can only be $1.50, but it'll certainly come out when you cross multiply. They like 37, I can tell you that. What is his average speed for when she was traveling? So the first one is Look at the total distance. It's 0 to 600. She went 600 miles. Now, it's not over 12 hours because she rested 3 different times or didn't travel 3 different 2-hour periods. So it's only 600 over 6 hours. Answer D. This is another famous one. I'm glad these are all coming up. You can't have 0 in the bottom. So these guys, remember that you can't divide by 0. So x cannot be -6 and x cannot be 8. Anybody else, including numbers that make the top 0, are okay. It's the bottom can't be 0. I made up a mythical number of people because they want to know the average and they don't tell me how many people. So guess what I make up? 100. Well, nobody said that I scored a 1. Nobody gave me a 2, but 10 of them gave me a 3. 70 of them gave me a 4, and 20 of them gave me a 5. So that's 30 points to 80 points, and 100 points is 410 divided by my 100 people. 40, man, this is never the answer, except for this time. They didn't say right triangle. They didn't say isosceles triangle. All they gave you was 2 parts of the triangle. And what do you need for a triangle? Correct, 3. So just knowing that one side is 6 and one side is the square root of 60 is not going to be enough beeswax. So that's a rare choice. In fact, one of the tips of testing is don't ever check that. But obviously that's not the greatest tip in the world because it just was the answer. Not today with that show.
Did you get an email? Did you get an email this morning?
I'll look in a little bit. All right, so what's this? What is true about A and B? Well, if A minus B is 1, then this becomes 1 minus 1, 0, and it's false. So A minus B cannot be 1. So that's B, okay? Remember, absolute value is always positive, so this is going to be always true unless it's 0. 42 tells a story. It starts with 150 meters of wire, and I make a circle with radius 5. Well, what's the circumference of that? Use the area of circle, and you get 10 pi. Now, that means I've used 10 pi. How much is left? 118. With that 118, I'm going to bend it into a square, all 4 sides equal, and they want to know the side length of the square. So don't I take what's left and divide it by 4? And I get 29.6. Let's hope that's one of the answers. This one was a doozy too. Okay. Which of the following is close to what recycling center will pay for this box? So the closed box is cardboard. So what you need is they're going to pay It weighs 1 pound per surface area. So do box and get the surface area. So program box gets the surface area for you. And let me figure that out real quick. It should be 52. So it's going to cost, look up here, 1 cent per pound. So it's going to end up costing times that 1 cent, 52 is D. Okay, this one's tricky. The cost of processing is 3 cents a can. So I'm going to pay you 5 cents a can, then spend 3 cents. So I spend 8 cents a can and I sell it for 15. So the profit is the difference. That's what I spend, that's what I sell. The profit is 7 cents per can. Bottles, $2. I pay you 10 cents. I process it for 2 cents. That's 12 cents. I sell it for 18. What's the difference? Is 6 cents per bottle. So I get 300 times 6 is my profit. So the profit is 200 times 0.07, which is 14 plus 18. I add these up, and the profit is 32, the lowest number. This is a simul. 2,700 cans and bottles, and I'm selling them. So bottles, let's do cans first. Cans plus bottles is 2,700. How much do I sell them for? 15 and 18. So 0.15C plus 0.18B is 441. Lucky I did the best 3 programs that I used the most. 2,700 and 0.15, 0.18. 441. 1,500 and 1,200. So it's 1,500 cans and 1,200 bottles. Answer F. $47. You FOIL this, and you get x squared plus 6x plus 8. You FOIL the second one, and you get that, and they want the middle terms product. So 6 times 10 is 60. Trig. When you add 2 pi to a degree, that sends you all the way back around. So this is the same thing as the sine of theta, because 2 pi would lap you 1 time more around. Circle ratio. They want the ratio of the area of the small to the area of the large. Well, the radius of the large is 6. So the large circle, plug it in the area of circle, you get 36 pi. The small has a diameter of 6, so a radius of 3. You're talking 9 over 36, 1 to 4. Here's my old recipe for adding fractions, tried and true. The common denominator is the product, 2ab, killer cross. 2a times 2a, b times b, and you get the answer, J, right away. My old tried and true killer cross method. This one is tough, but if you think of yourself as going 30 west of north, so this is straight north, that's west, so you're 30 degrees west of north. So your vector is going to be a negative and a positive. It's going to be left then up, answer B. Now, if you did the math, this angle would be 60. That would be 16. That would make this 8, and this would be the 8 square root of 3. The 8 is half, so that's why the answer is negative 8, 8 square root of 3. The number first is the x, the number second is the y. There were some hard questions on this, none harder than 52. 52 says, what is, they give you f composed of g. Now g is x plus 1. See how it's plugged in there as x plus 1? So f must just be the cube root of x minus 2, because that's where g is plugged in. So look at f of g. The g gets put in right there. And what do they want? They want g of f of, or golf as we call it. So that's copy f, and then plug that in to g, which is just x plus 1. So the answer is the cube root of x minus 1. That's hard to follow. Subsets. B is a subset of A, means it fits inside. C is a subset of B, so C is in there, huh? And D is a subset of C, so I drew it wrong. I need more space. They're all inside of each other, huh? So whenever something is an element of B, it's in A, because B is inside of A, but not vice versa with the others. This is the, it's probably hard to read, that's x to the, I think that's 6th root, so it's 4/6 times x to the 4/3. So you add these together and you get power times a power, you add and you get 2. So yeah, that's right. That's the problem says the 6th root of x to the 4th times the cube root of x to the 4th. So you put these as fractions, add the fractions, and you get 2. This is just price per quart. Doesn't belong at the end of the test. So $3 for 2 quarts. The first one is $1.50 per quart. It also sells 1.5 quart for $2.50. So how much is that? I need a calculator. In my old age, that's 250 divided by 1.5 is 166 a quart. and it is what is the ratio of the prices. So it's 1.6 repeating, so you put the first one over the second one. So let's take 1.5 and put it over the answer, which for some people is go get it. I just hit second answer, and there it is. It is rounded here. See if it math bracks for me. It should. It did not. I'll bet you your calculator does. That's 0.9, which is 9/10. Tough problem. There's 100 cards, so I don't have anything to go on as far as, but there's 20 of each, and each has a number marked on it. So it's B1, B2, B3, all the way to B20. So what's the probability of a card having a blue? So that's all 20 of these, or a 17. So these are going to have one each with a 17 marked on it. All the blues count, so it's 24 out of 100. The mistake there is to say 25 out of 100 because there's 5 17s and 20 blues, but you'd be counting the blue 17 twice. 57 is my classic cheater. They don't tell me the population, so I'm going to start with a population of 100. So a 20% increase. I times it by 20% and add it, I end up with 120. Then a 30% increase. I times it by 30%, I get 36, that's 156, followed by a 20% decrease. So that's 31.2 from 156, and I get 124.8 as my final answer. So the population started at 100, it got to 125, so what's the change? And that's why 100 is such a good pick. Here we go, there's 4 golfers. I think I tried to talk about this yesterday. So if Jill is one of them, what is the chance that she'll be paired up when they choose teams with Ramona? Well, she's got 3 choices for her team, and how many of them are Ramona? 1. Law of cosines, this time they give it to you, so I know to look opposite the 34. So it's going to be 10 squared equals the other 2 squared minus twice their product cosine of 34. So which one says that is A, I believe. Last one is these two aren't going to touch at all. The center here is 4, 3, and the radius is 2. The center here is 4, 10, and the x radius is 2, and the y radius is only 4. So they're not going to reach each other because their only chance is down here, and it misses it by a good bit. This point would be 4, 5, and this point would be 4, 6. Actually, it's closer than I said. So that's just based on taking the points and manipulating them. All right, that was 50 minutes of good video. I hope it helps. See y'all at the class.